KVK is finally over, and you know what that means? It is time for us to review how I did in this last KVK. As you guys can see, we have 1 day and 21 hours left, and this was a crazy one. If you guys missed my previous video, I'll link it on the top right side of the screen for you, and you can go check it out where I talked all about how this KVK actually ended. But today, we are diving into the stats themselves, how I did, and if I did as well as I had set out for myself. So first, let's start with the not so fun stuff, beginning with our resources spent. I spent almost 16 billion resources healing this KVK. 16 billion resources, which is absolutely crazy to me. What is interesting here is I spent more food than anything else, which I kind of expected. Typically when I gather, I'm gathering food and I'm gathering usually gold, and I'll figure out the wood and stone from my farms. But food is always my downfall, and this KVK was no different. Now what is interesting here is I was fighting with a lot of T5. Most of my units were actually T5 because I was trying to get the best trades I could. We know that I didn't, but I was trying to get the best trades that I could. So this is really no surprise here, but it was interesting to see kind of my breakdown. I would have expected things to be a little bit different, but it does look like my healing wasn't cavalry heavy as it usually is, right? Because usually the cavalry consume all that stone. So this was insightful, I think. I love that Lilith added this. It's super nice, and it makes it so much easier to see how everything went. Now, this next one is a little bit also less fun, but I think I actually did pretty well here. So as you guys know, Lilith recently added this new ability for you to actually just see exactly how many resources and speed ups you have at a glance. Well, taking a look at my speed ups, this is what I have now. 1,729 days of speed ups, with the gross majority of them being the universals there. We do have some building speedups. We do have research speedups. They don't really matter. What we're really looking at here are the universals and the healing, because let's be honest, that's what I'm consuming during KVK. Well, if we go over to where I started here, you can see I started with almost 100 full days more in speedups of universals. We're not even going to talk about the healing speedups or the training speedups. The healing speedups I consumed all of. It looks like I consumed about 29 days of healing speedups, but I consumed over 100 days total speedups. Look at that, 1729 and then 1825. And yes, I know you guys are like, Shappy, you whale, you have so many speedups. I really don't, guys. I really don't have a lot of speedups. It's okay. It's not enough for Zenith. I'm in that weird state where it's like not enough for a Zenith, but also not enough to be really useful. So you win some, you lose some. Overall, I'm kind of pleased with how my speed up consumption turned out. If I consume 100 days of speed ups every single KVK, I have 18 KVKs left in me. And also we're about to go into the off season. I'm going to do Marauders. I'm sure we'll be able to get some of this stuff back. Not too worried about that. But that's not why you're really here, right? I know you guys want to understand how my account stats have changed. So here we have my account stats going into this KVK. Now, again, I was doing pretty well, and I had set a goal for myself of hitting between 400 and 500 million kill points. That was my goal. That was what I really wanted to try and do. And I started this KVK at 4.3 billion kill points, and I'm now at 4.8 billion kill points, which is huge. That's a jump that I'm really, really proud of there. I feel good about that. If we look at my breakdown in game, I think the majority of my kill point numbers have been from T4 and T5. Oh my God, yeah, look at that. It's almost all T5 right there. Right there, you see that? I went from 2.9 billion kill points from T5 to 3.382. So that means almost 400 million kill points this KVK came just from T5. That's nuts. So this was a really competitive KVK. There was a lot of fighting. There was a lot going on. So my kill stats got way better. Way more than I could have hoped for. As I said, I started at 4.3 and I was really just trying to get to like, I don't know, 4.8, and I did better than 4.8. So that's a win. I had almost 600 million kill points. That's huge. So I'm proud of myself. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is this good? Is this bad? Could you have done better? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't end up maxing tech. So you guys know I'm like a low to mid spender. I bought all the pop-ups. I didn't buy any Mountain Warfares. I didn't buy any Conqueror's Will. And I was trading terribly. So if I could do this, so can you. I believe in you guys. And if you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right-hand corner. Drop a like on the video if you are enjoying. Now, let's talk about deads. I really want to see my deads because my deads give me a lot of insight into how I actually played this KVK. And I didn't get very many deads this KVK. And let me explain exactly what happened here. So I started this KVK with 27 million deads, which is a lot. I think I have an old account, but that's still a lot. And now I'm at 27,742. I really wanted to get more deads. What happened was we actually intentionally didn't take deads until Kingsland because we were going to stuff structures in Kingsland. And in Zone 7 and even in Zone 5, we were mostly fighting with farms. I have 4 different farms. I was farm stuffing. I got over 1 million deads across all 4 farms. But I didn't take a lot of deads on my main account, which means that I'm going to have a little bit of bloat in terms of power. It also means my next KVK requirements are going to be higher. So stick around for that. I know I'm excited. But I am a little bit disappointed in my deads numbers here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I could have done better. I should have done better. But it just didn't shake out the way that I was really hoping it would. And that's okay. If you guys want to see the breakdown of my deads, I can show you exactly what happened here. So if we go over here, you can see I was mainly, again, fighting with T5. So I took a bunch of T5 deads. It was archers all day, every day. Those Ashurbanipal rallies were absolutely crushing my marches. There really weren't a whole lot of other troops that I was taking deads on. On my farms, it was mostly cavalry because we were using Jan Zitska with Heraclius in the past. But overall, I'm okay with this. Not the best. Typically, I like to pick up at least another 500k extra deads just to keep my power level. But beggars can't be choosers. KVK Kingsland wasn't all that long, and that's how it goes. So now that we've covered my kill points and we've covered my deads, the most favorite part that I have about this is actually taking a look at some of my commanders. And if you guys remember, coming into this KVK, my commanders were not really all that used for the most part, and commander swap landed like just in time for KVK. So let's take a look at some of my commanders going into this KVK and how they ended up doing. So let's begin with Ragnar, right? Ragnar is a commander that I didn't really have anything invested into. As you can see, he was 5.52 going into this KVK, and he ended up turning out to be kind of a unit, guys. So he had 0 kills, 0 anything. He was never really used, right? You could see 48,000 kills. That was it. Check this out. I'm really excited. Let's look at Ragnar. He was one of my main infantry marches, but he was wearing my secondary infantry set for most of the KVK. Okay, 949,000 in one KVK. That's not bad, 949,000. It means he picked up just about 900,000 kills. Not great. I don't expect it to be the best. I'm going to guess it's probably like middle of the pack for my commanders. We'll find out which did the best at the very end. Okay, so there's Ragnar. What about another commander that we're all very familiar with and love? Let's take a look at our good man, Nevsky. So Nevsky, we're now at 18.2 million kills. I use Nevsky a lot. Ho Chu Bing was my main go-to, but I use Nevsky a lot. He's a legend. He's great. How did he do when I started out? So here we are. Here's our Nevsky. And let's see. Going into this KVK, Nevsky had 15 million kills. So what is that growth? 15.9 to 18.2. Whoa! My Nevsky did so well. I'm like super surprised. I had no idea. This is my first time going through and seeing all of my commanders and how they actually did. So this is the authentic Shappy reaction. That's insane. So Nevsky picked up like 2.2 million kills alone. That's way better than Ragnar. See, guys, my cavalry. Cavalry are the way to go. Anyone who says archers are best in the field, you just wait. You just wait until we get to some of the stats of the other commanders. Well, if we're going to look at Nevsky, I think we have to look at some of the other cavalry commanders that I know I've been running. And that is big man Ho Chi Bing. So Ho Chi Bing has 17 million kills right now. 17 million is fine. You know, I typically have been a hater of Ho Chi Bing. I've seen people in my comments like, Shappy, why do you hate that guy so much? He's just not my favorite commander. He's fine. He's a single target commander. And I know, so is Nevsky, but alas. So he's at 17 million kills right now. He started at 14. This right here is the power of Arthur. Because I was running Ho Chi Bing with Arthur the entire time. Ho Chi Bing took an extra 3 million kills because of Arthur. That is absolutely nuts to me. And this may have been my best March this KVK. Again, I don't know. But Ho Chi Bing Arthur may have been my best March. We're going to find out at the end. I'm going to show you guys in tiered order which March did the best. So far, this is pretty great. I'm really, really pumped with Ho Chi Bing. Again, I had low hopes. I had low hopes for him, but he turned out all right. So let's talk about archers. Again, this KVK was the worst KVK ever for my archers. I don't know what was going on. They were just getting absolutely obliterated at every single turn. Zhuge Liang and Herman were not doing well, and they kept getting dragged into murder balls, which was super frustrating for me. I don't know if you guys have had this issue in the past. I know that Chadsky made a whole video on how archers kind of suck, but this was just my experience. So here's Zhuge Liang. Be prepared, guys. You had 15.45 million kills. Going into this KVK, he had 13.1. So we picked up about 2 million kills, which is still going to be better than Ragnar. We picked up about 2.3 million kills. That's actually pretty good. I think that was better than Nevsky, but again, I did feel like my archers kind of got crushed this KVK. And so if that's really the case, and they still got this many kills, I'm kind of surprised. Again, maybe Chadsky's wrong. Archers are viable. At least Zhuge Liang. Zhuge Liang is always going to be viable, I think. He's pretty good. So I am pleasantly surprised by that. And this next commander, unfortunately, got the bench this KVK. I don't think he did much for me. I don't think I was really fielding him at all. He had 15.4 million kills total. And let's see what I started with here. Guan Yu, how did you do? 14.39. So he still managed to rake in 1 million kills at some point. I don't know where it came from. I don't know when I was fielding him, but Guan Yu managed to pull in 1 million kills. Not bad. Actually better than Ragnar, to my own dismay. I think Guan Yu was probably used for all of Zone 5, because I don't think the Ragnar commander swap had come out yet. So that's probably where Guan's kills came from. Which then leads me to wonder, okay, Guan Yu is paired with Scipio. Ragnar was also paired with Scipio. So the commander that's going to give me the best insight into how everything else actually did is going to be Scipio. So let's go look at Scipio and see how he did. Because Scipio has been the secondary for every infantry march that I have. So he's at 15.13 million kills. It's a fair bit. Not the most, not the least, but that's not bad. Now let's see how he started. 15.137. Ooh. I'm a little nervous, guys. Okay. He started at 13.15. 13.15 kills. And now he's at 15.137. So he got just about 2 million kills. Again, Ho Chi Bing did better alone, but Scipio, I kind of expected more from you. This was like one of my main infantry marches. I guess I only run 2, but I expected Scipio to really be the one carrying all these infantry marches. And I guess with Ragnar, there was 900K. With Guan Yu, there was about 1 million. So it makes sense that Scipio would have about 2 million total. But I was expecting him to get a few more than that. So that one's a little bit disappointing. You know, not the best stats in the world, but that's okay. let's move on to the real infantry marches that you guys know I was actively using. Beginning with the one and only, drumroll please, we are going to look at Luce. Luce is an absolute beast. If you can max one infantry commander in Rise of Kingdoms, it should be Luce. If you haven't, I'm sorry, you've made a mistake. Max Luce. Luce had 16.8 million kills. Luce was used this KVK behind William Wallace and also as a primary for Attila. I benched William Wallace and I had Luce Attila. So if his stats aren't absolutely insane, I'm going to be a little surprised. And they are. So he started this KVK at 13.7 million kills, and he's now at 16.8. So he racked up 3 million kills, right on par with Ho Chi Bing. That was totally what I expected. The big question is going to be, did Luce Attila or Luce William Wallace do better than Ho Chi Bing Arthur? That's the big question. I don't know. Again, this is my first time going through everything, so I'm kind of excited. But Luce was an absolute beast. He turned out to be one of my highest killers this KVK. I'm only kind of surprised. He's just an absolute animal. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's not a bad result there. But again, Luce was paired with William Wallace. So how did he do? William Wallace is at 5.6, just about, million kills right now. What did he start KVK with? This was, I think, my only second KVK with William Wallace, and I maxed him. Previously, he was only 5.551. So how did he do maxed? So 5.58, and he started at just about 4 million kills. So he picked up, it looks like, just about a little bit less, 1.6. Kind of underwhelming. I really was hoping William Wallace would have had more. 1.6, that's slightly better than Guan. A little bit on par with Nevsky, but William Wallace Luce was one of my best marches, but it does kind of feel like William Wallace was not carrying his weight here, I gotta say. Which makes me wonder, was my other pair the one that really did all the damage there for Luce? Because there's 3 million kills there, and he only got like, again, William Wallace only got 1.5. So let's see. You guys know. My favorite commander, who's about to be back in the meta thanks to Subutai. Let's check out Attila. So Attila is by far my biggest killer of any commander in Rise of Kingdoms. For good reason. He is at 68 million kills. 68 million. And again, this is a commander that's no longer in the meta. But I was running Luce Attila only during artifacts. Attila never saw any action outside of artifacts. How did he do this KVK? Okay. About, what is that? 1.3 million kills? It's not as good as William Wallace. But, again, I was only running him with artifacts. I think had I been able to run him the entire KVK, I would have done significantly better. But that means that between Luce, Attila, and William Wallace, we came out about 6 million kills. So not bad. Pretty good. I think Ho Chi Bing Arthur may have done better. We're going to find out. But I think that may be the case. So let's check out some of the other commanders first, though. We did have Joan. Joan was a huge killer last KVK. If you guys missed the video, it's on the top right side of your screen now. I went through and I showed off how great Joan did. So Joan finished this KVK 6.761 million kills. And the reason I love Joan is that double skill proc is just chef's kiss. So good. So how did she start? Joan started at 14.4. So she netted out about 2.3 million kills, which makes her better than William Wallace, better than Attila, better than Nevsky, I think even better than my archers, which again, no surprise because my archers did terribly, but not better than Luce. So she's like in third place right now. And that's not bad. Joan is a secondary commander too. That's not bad at all. And the reason why being a secondary commander is kind of a disadvantage is because the secondary commander's skills don't always get to pop. If you're in a murder ball, the target could die off of the first commander skills, or it could just be a little bit more difficult to be able to land those skills. So that's not bad at all. I'm actually very okay with that. I think that Joan did pretty well. She continues to be a viable meta march for my cavalry. Now let's look at Herman, because again, my archers got obliterated this KVK. Not my favorite march in the world, but let's see how it all shook out. So Herman actually did pretty well. So he started the KVK at 5.3 million kills, and he finished at 7.68, which is close to 7.7. So that's almost like 2.5 million kills right there. 2.3 million kills. For archers, I mean, again, my archers were absolutely getting destroyed this KVK. I'm okay with that. I would run Zook Herman again, even though they didn't do all that well. I would run them again because they got enough kills to justify my using them. So I think that's pretty good. And that concludes all of the stats for commanders that we had originally gone into this KVK with. But as you guys know, there were some commanders that probably saw some action that was not expected. So starting with Arthur. Arthur netted 1.283 million kills, which is a fair bit. It's pretty good, I would say, considering he only really saw action in Zone 7 and then Kingsland. So that's not bad. And if we know Ho Chi Bing did well, then I have to imagine that the other commander that did pretty well is going to be William. Now, William did okay. I don't have his before stats, again, but I do think that William is a viable secondary. At this point in the game, though, I would not be investing in him. I just don't think that he's going to be worth it. I would stick with commanders like Arthur. I just think that's what makes the most sense. So there's William. He did okay. But one of the commanders that I think was super underappreciated, and if you guys missed my video on getting swarmed, then you should see it, was Zeno. Zeno got a ton of the kills this KVK because I got swarmed a bunch. So Zeno Theo went ham. If you guys don't have a city garrison, don't go random teleporting because you will get swarmed. But Zeno Theo did pretty well. Zeno and Theo both have a good number of kills. So that's just about it on all the commander stats. As for equipment, my equipment sets are at a all-time best. So you can see we now have some iconic tiers here. You can see that on cavalry as well. This is my worst march by equipment. Then you have my archer setup. And then you have my secondary cav setup. So overall, I think we're in a pretty good spot. My armaments also got better this KVK. But if you guys do want to see more, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all. I hope that you've enjoyed. If you haven't already, again, do hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right-hand corner. Hit the bell so you get notified when new episodes come out. Thank you all. Shappy out.